Why are functions important in C programming? In C programming, particularly in embedded systems development, it is common to find multiple lines of code repeated in various parts of the main program, specifically within the main function. To optimize the code structure, we identify and extract these repeated blocks and replace them with a function call that refers to a named function. This practice offers several key advantages. Reduce, Reduces code duplication, improves readability, simplifies debugging and maintenance. A function name serves as an abstraction that represents a group of instructions which may otherwise be repeated throughout the main function. There are three standard ways to define and use function in C. The third method is the most powerful and professional and is widely used in real-world embedded applications. In the first approach, the function is defined in the same file where the main function is located. In this example, you'll notice that the same set of instructions appears twice within the main function, an exact repetition of code. To improve clarity and reduce redundancy, replace each repeated block with a single descriptive function name, a name that acts as a placeholder for those repeated lines. Next, we define the actual code block separately outside in the main function and assign it that same name. This process is known as writing a function. From then on, whenever the function name is called, the entire block of instruction inside the function is executed, just as if the original code were written directly in place. This not only reduces code duplication but also enhances readability, maintainability, and modularity in your programs. After refactoring the code, the overall structure of the program now using a function becomes much cleaner, more modular, and easier to understand as shown on a screen. Components of FC function return type. What it is? The data type of the value the function returns. Examples: int, float, char, void, etc. Note: if the function doesn't return anything, use void. Function name. What it is? The unique identifier for the function. Note: should be meaningful and follow C naming rules. Parameters or argument lists. What it is? Inputs that are passed to the function. Format inside parentheses, each with a type and a name. Note: use void for no parameters. Function body. What it is? A block of code between braces that performs the function's tasks. Includes declarations, logic, control flow, etc. Return statement. What it is? Sends a value back to the caller. Required if the return type is not void. Three professional methods for writing functions in C. When working on larger and more organized C programs, especially in embedded systems, it's important to structure your code properly. There are three common and practical approaches for defining and using functions in C. Number one, defining the function in the same files as main. Defining the function in the same file as main. This method is simple and ideal for small projects or beginners. It has two variations. A function defined before main. The function is fully defined before the main function. In this case, no prototype is needed. B function defined after main. The function comes after main, so a function prototype must be declared above main to let the compiler know about the function before it is used. Number two, defining the function in a separate .c file. In this approach, the function moves to a separate .c file, for example, myfunction.c. To use the function, the file is included in the main program using the hashtag include myfunction.c directive. While this method allows for better separation of code, it's not recommended for professional development, as it can lead to issues with multiple inclusions or name collisions. Number three, defining the function in a .c file and declaring its prototype in a .h header file. This is the most professional and modular approach, commonly used in industry and larger projects. The function implementation is placed in a .c file, for example, utils.c. The function prototype is declared in a corresponding .h file, for example, utils.h. The header file is then included in the main program using hashtag include utils.h. To prevent compiler errors caused by multiple inclusion, proper header guards should be used in the .h file. Ready to level up your C programming skills? Let's practice writing clean and reusable functions directly inside the Eclipse IDE with a hands-on example. We define a function called sumAndPrint that works with two 32-bit integer variables and a and b. Inside the function body, we also declare a third 32-bit integer variable named s, which is used to store the result of computation. The function begins by prompting the user to enter two values via the keyboard. It uses scanf to read the inputs and store them in A and B, and printf to display prompts or messages to the user. On line 2020, the sum of A and B is calculated and assigned to S. The result is then printed to the output using printf. To make the result accessible outside the function, return S using the return statement. This value is referred to as the function's return value. To correctly return this value, we must specify the function's return type before the function name. Calling the function from main. To invoke this function from within the main function, we use its name followed by parentheses containing the required argument. In our example, we define two integer variables a and b, both initialized to 0, and pass them as arguments to sumAndPrint function. A note on variable naming. The variables a and b used inside the function and those in main function can either have the same names or different names. Both are syntactically Correct. However, using consistent names improves code readability and helps make debugging easier, especially in more complex projects. Another common approach is to declare the function prototype above the main function and then define the full function implementation after main. This method improves code organization and helps the compiler recognize the function before it's called. In our next video, we'll explore the second and third methods of writing functions, more professional and widely used in real projects. Make sure to subscribe so you don't lose track of our channel and hit the bell icon to get notified when the next video is released.